Hi guys, it's your boy Goose Monster right here, and I would love to take this moment just to tell you guys a bit of my story because I just feel like people don't really understand the dynamics of my life, and obviously because of the love and support that I've been receiving, I feel like I should share certain things so that people understand where I come from. So people have been asking me why am I not doing another show, for example, just to get the qualifier for 2026. I would love to prepare and compete as much as possible, but the reality is that I'm born in South Africa, so you can't necessarily do this bodybuilding career here full time because of obviously the support that the sport receives overall. So with that being said, and also with me being privileged and honored to be part of the one of the biggest institutions in South African football. So I work for Kaizer Chiefs, and some of the people don't necessarily know that, and I feel like I should put it out there, you know. So by profession, I'm a sports scientist, and I studied at the University of Pretoria. In 2010 I did my first year, and I completed 2013 with my honors, and then I was privileged enough to work for the High Performance Center at the University of Pretoria from 2014 all the way till 2022. However, in 2019 to 2020, I did my master's at the University of Pretoria, and yeah, so I have a master's in sports science. And then 2 years later, I was privileged and honored to join the biggest institution in South African football, which is Kaizer Chiefs. And I'm blessed, you know, each and every day I wake up without having stress in terms of like the type of work I do. And as much as it's a high pressure environment, I feel like I'm one of the few people who have been blessed with such an opportunity to be part of the biggest institution in South Africa. And also, not just that, you know, just to be in a situation where you mold athletes to be better individuals, not just for football, but for the entire society of South Africa. So with that being said, I don't necessarily have the opportunity to compete as much as I would love to. Not like I don't like what's this, I feel like it's a bad thing, not at all. So how I do it is that I compete mostly in the off season of soccer season. So let's say the season runs from September for the under 23 boys all the way till May. So you can see the gap will be from May, like end of May, all the way till the beginning of September. I have like a bit of time to compete. However, due to me being a sports scientist, and my key performance area is to make sure that the players perform physically. So I can't necessarily miss preseason. So 6 weeks before the start of the season, I need to ensure that I prepare our players to be able to perform throughout the season. So my main objective within the team, obviously, it is to maximize physical performance for the athletes. So I do strength and conditioning. I also do athlete monitoring and obviously training interventions. So with that being said, on a day-to-day basis, constantly thinking about football performance. What is it that I can do to ensure that my players are performing better? Since especially that we are under pressure of being a big brand and a trendsetter in South African football, you know, and we are currently the defending champs of the D-Ski Challenge, which is basically all the under 23 teams that are part of the 16 Premier Soccer League teams. So we are currently the defending champs, as I've mentioned, and with that being said, we need to obviously make sure that we defend our title, because we are currently the team that holds the record of 70 points in the league, and so that is the highest amount of points that one could collect. However, we did this in a 28 league match because of one team was excluded, which was Royal AM last year, and we only played 28 games and we managed to accumulate 70 points. So there's a lot of pressure each and every time because of our fans are quite passionate about the club, and we constantly live and breathe that pressure, which is quite a privilege because it keeps you on your toes and it helps you to be a better individual. That's why, win or loss, I take it on the chin because of I'm always in a high pressure environment at work, so I'm used to this thing, because I've said, for us as an institution, our highs are real highs and our lows are real lows, meaning that if the team is doing well, the whole of South Africa is happy. If the team is not doing well, the whole of South Africa is not happy. So it's an honor to be part of this process, and each and every day, like I said, you wake up with both goosebumps and love in your heart, because of you get to be in an environment where you actually making a significant contribution towards the South African football industry. So I'm quite excited since today I'm going back to work after the China show, and I feel that I should have just shared this so that people can understand that I'm not just choosing shows and doing it because of maybe I feel like maybe this is a good show to do. I don't pick shows, I just compete whenever the opportunity presents itself. So depending on when the calendar is scheduled, I will then compete. However, if the calendar is scheduled during the football season, I won't compete at all, because of for me personally, why I do this is just to show people that you can climb both the academic ladder as well as the bodybuilding ladder, and still find balance in all this chaotic environment. So to tell you a bit of the background of why am I involved in football, because of most people also don't know that. They always tend to think that, how can such a big bodybuilder be doing strength and conditioning for football? So back in the day, I used to play football like any other kid born in Soweto. So in 2006, I was in grade 9. I was 14, turning 15. However, because of I was already a hard worker, I was playing with senior boys from 17 all the way to 19 in my township team called White City Tigers. So I'm from a township called White City in Soweto. It is where actually Solomon Mahlangu got shot, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of whenever the apartheid era started. So to take you back, 2006, I was in grade 10, I got injured, and it was towards the festive season, right? And my knee was giving me trouble. I could do a warm-up in football, and then whenever I'm about to enter the pitch, my knee pain was quite severe. I couldn't run for more than 5-10 minutes, and then due to that, it was, as I've said, towards festive season. I took time off. I went to go visit my aunt in Pretoria, and then when I came back in January, I remember for sure the exact date. So one of our homeboys had a bench, as well as a bar, a couple of weights, And then what's this, like, he also had, you know, that core wheel, just a few things for training and small dumbbells and stuff, you know. So I told myself that whenever my friends are gonna resume the football season in 2007, I will go to gym, you know, with my other friend in the backyard, you know, in White City, in the township. So we only had one bench, a bar, a few weights, and like I've said, and a few of those dumbbells that you screw on to obviously put the load, the plates on the side, and then you just screw it on. So it was January 18. Remember, it was a Thursday. We were from school. The schools were just opening at that day. And then we went to school. After school, my friends went to soccer practice. I went directly to the backyard to go gym. So it was my first day then, on the 18th of January, 2007. I was in grade 10 and I was 15, turning 16 in December. So you can imagine how skinny I was. I think at that particular time, my weight was around 58 to 60, you know. So I was a skinny boy, and however not too skinny. And then we started training in the backyard. So the guy who owned the equipment had a bit of background in terms of like how to train and stuff like that. So we were doing like a full body session where we start off with back. So we would take it like from the rear chain, back, shoulders, come to the front, chest. After chest, we go arms. After arms, then we would go lower body. Like one player, two guys will lift the bar, hold it on the side. We do squats, and then thereafter we would do some lunges, and then we finish off with the core wheel. And then that was it. Like, it was just a simple workout. However, at about 2 weeks or so, my body started responding. The pain on my knee started to decrease, and then, you know, I got fascinated by how I was starting to look, like, you know, like, because of my muscles were starting to fill up. And just imagine like a boy at 14 turning I was turning 16. So at 15 turning 16, and then now you start to have like your body is filling up nicely. You know, you can start to see the lines of your abs, and you can imagine what's happening. So my boys, whenever we meet after their soccer practice, they're like, "Oh boy, what's happening? Your body is changing, man." And you can still see it like at school, how the ladies are saying like, "Yeah, you now have a chest there." So it was one of those things where, and now you start to fall in love with the process and the results, because of like there's a casual relationship in bodybuilding between the effort and the results. So the more effort you put in, the more results you get, as long as the environment is sustainable in terms of proper nutrition and recovery. So I was making sure I'm eating well, you know, and I started ensuring also that I stopped using a taxi to school. I would walk to school, and like that would shred me even more. So I started having abs and stuff in grade 10, you know, and girls at school started calling me Mr. Muscle, and now it started bringing all the attention, you know. And then because of that, I went back to football, and then now after football, I would go train with my friends still. So soccer practice after school, from let's say 4 till about 5:15, and then from 5:30 till about 6:30, I was training with my friend. And then now the body started to change, and I was enjoying the the results that came with gym more than the results that came with football. Because of what then happened was that because of like I'm a hard worker, it put me in a difficult situation, because I was the captain in the team, and I felt like some people are not pulling their socks, and I would get a lot of like a bit frustrated because of like I'm a hard worker, and then whenever you make my team lose, I would feel like I hate the concept of having my results be determined by someone else, you know, because of the problem was that the gym itself was providing the results, and all that depended on me, you know. So one can say I'm quite selfish because it's a team sport after all, you know. We have to carry the team as individuals, and win or lose, you know, we didn't have to take it personal, you know. However, like for me, it started being personal, and that really started like chipping away the love for football for me. And the one thing that I hated the most was that I was quite passionate about football, you know. Each and every Monday I would buy a Soccer Laduma, and I was memorizing all the teams in the PSL, you know, and no one would tell me about a player that's not in in any team. I would know, because of like I was well invested and I was quite passionate about the like football itself, and I was hoping one day I would play for one of the biggest teams in South Africa, you know. However, you know, life has somewhat has its own plans, you know. So with that being said, I started my love for football started chipping away bit by bit, bit by bit, you know. And then I started like enjoying the gym side of things because of the results are on me, you know. And then what then happened was that once I got to grade 11, I met an old man called Dasoli, and this old man had like a gym at his home. He had everything you could think of in a gym, because of the man was a welder, and he would watch your Ronnie Coleman's, your Arnold Schwarzenegger's train and see equipment there, and he will build the stuff. So any form of machine that you could think of, he would build a multifunctional stations. So for example, he built a leg press that becomes a hack squat. So let's say for example, the leg press, as you are seated, you can put like another attachment on the top there and do a normal leg press, and then sometimes you can remove that top foot placement, and then you would find the cushion there to do a hack squat. So he was that type of a guy, because of like he always thought about maximizing the space. So all his equipment would do probably 2 or 3 functions. So we had everything there, and the old man used Wader charts. You know, there were like those charts that were developed by obviously the founder of bodybuilding, the founders of bodybuilding, the Wader charts. So we had chart 1, chart 2, chart 3, and then there was chart 4 and 5. So chart 1 was basically a chart for beginners where you train 3 times a week, full body sessions. And then chart 2, I think it was 4 sessions where you go upper and lower body. And then chart 3, that's when you specialize, where you're training a particular muscle group. And then chart 4 and 5 was when you are really trying to maximize, let's say, hypertrophy or strength, where like there was less volume and high intensity. And then from there onwards, he would make us do the Arnold Schwarzenegger program. And then from the Arnold's program, then he would say you have mastered obviously the foundation in terms of bodybuilding. So each and every guy that came to that gym, whether you were, let's say, big, small, everyone went through the same process of Wader principles, so that we can understand and lay a good foundation. So how I got my big legs is because of the old man. Every Saturday he would make us do a giant set of 10 exercises for lower body only in the gym, where we would go around about 3 or 4 sets. So they have 10 exercises set up, and then we just continuously go in a form of a circuit where you do 25 repetitions, and then you move on to the next exercise, you do 25 repetitions. And like there was no music being played, it was just us young boys with weights training legs every Saturday. So there will be 2 Saturdays where we train legs, and then thereafter one Saturday we do arms and shoulders. So he did that to us, and that laid a good foundation for me. So within that process, I was in grade 11. I did my first show. Grade 11, I was 16, turning 17. I did my first show in Jabulani Mall. And there was a guy called Yu. If guys from Soweto would know him, Yu is one of the veterans in terms of bodybuilding. He was there at the show. I remember meeting him at the show, and I didn't know much about what is it that you require for actually participating in a bodybuilding event. I remember getting there, they were still setting up, and because of I was a small kid who was just passionate enough to understand what's happening there, I just rocked up there with nothing, and then they were asking me, "Hey boy, you came to do aerobics marathon?" I'm like, "No, I came to do a bodybuilding show." That's how skinny I was. They thought I came to do an aerobics marathon show. However, I competed. You took overall at that show. I came fourth. I was a kid. I cried. I remember I cried at my first show. And then, however, from there onwards, there was a guy in our gym called Simpiwe. He's like, "Boy, I don't stress, There's another show coming down, like in December, called Men's Physique. It was in Innerdale." And then he said to me, "I'll help you to understand what is it that you need." And then he told me, "Boy, eat fish 3 times to 4 times a day. And then if you're not eating fish, just try eat chicken. And then reduce the whole concept of eating pap, because we in South Africa we have what we call it's called pap. Basically, it's what how can I put it? If you think about it, in the current generation, you can take cream of rice, right? And then if you can make it to be harder, like a hard texture, we have something like that is made off of maize, but we cook it like we started off as if it's porridge, and then we keep on adding the maize until it becomes thicker. And then that's what we call pap. So he told me to stop eating pap and rice, and then I just started eating only proteins and fats. And then I walked to school, walked back, and then I bought myself a Fedra card. Back in the day, it was 200 Rand in clicks. I started drinking that, and then I started getting shredded. I was training with him. We were pushing one another at the gym. And then, he mentored me, and then I won my first trophy, Mr. Physique, at 16, turning 17. I won my first bodybuilding event. Obviously, it was a development show in the neighborhood. And then, the foundation was laid then from there. Next year I was in grade 12. I was 17, turning 18. I did the very same show, Mr. Physique. I won it. I remember when I went to Mr. Physique at that time, I was writing maths paper 1 on Friday and maths paper 2 on Monday. I wrote that paper, went to do a bodybuilding show, came back. I wrote the second paper. That actually cost me 1 mark to get a distinction in maths. So, was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it, because at the end of the day, I think life is all about balance. It's not about chasing like perfection on one aspect of life. So, however, I would say bodybuilding overall helped me to basically take certain lessons to any aspect of my life, because of in this process, all along as these things were happening, I started having the fascination of what is it that it takes, for the body to actually go through the whole concept of trauma through the training, and then how it recovers, and how is it that for me personally, I was quickly to be able to recover from that knee injury, and then be able to play football, still do well in bodybuilding, and then from that whole from all those questions, I then asked one of my teachers. It was my main teacher in grade 12 about, you know, I want to really study something along those lines. Like, I want to understand the body in terms of, like, what is it that training does to the body, and how is it that we can use training to reduce injuries or help people to recuperate. And my teacher told me about, obviously, physiotherapy. She said, you can study physiotherapy or sports science. And I was like, what is sports science? you know. And then she's like, no, man, like, here's a website. Look at the University of Pretoria. They offer sports science. Then I went to the website and I started researching about sports science. And that's when I saw, okay, physiotherapists, they use exercise for rehabilitation and all these things. But for me, do I really want to work with special population? Do I really want to work in a hospital? I was like, actually, for me, I would really, really love to work with athletes, and not just any other athletes, because of I was so passionate about football. I want to work in football, but the thing is that I'm also passionate about bodybuilding. What is it that we can do? Told myself, you know what, I'll figure this out. Let me just apply at the University of Pretoria. So I applied at the University of Pretoria, wrote my exams in 2009, matric. The results came back. I passed very well because of, like, I was doing bodybuilding. I wasn't like an A student. I could say I was a B student, yeah. So I got obviously admitted to the University of Pretoria, as I said, 2010. And then the most weirdest of things happened in class. Once I settled at varsity, every day was just a beautiful day because of, like, the eagerness to understand the body. I was the one, that kid that's always frustrating everyone. Say, can I ask? Can I ask? Can I ask? Can I ask? So yeah, that helped me so much, man. Like, I remember, I even got a golden key, because of, like, being one of the students that are doing well academically. You get recognized. You go, like, there's this golden key. People who've been to varsity, they would know what a golden key is. So yeah, got a golden key, well, at university, because of my eagerness of wanting to know things. And for me, class was quite easy because of, like, I was learning these things, applying them at the gym on me. And because of, like, it tax, whenever you're studying sports science back then, our professor made it compulsory that you go to gym. We had hours that we needed to complete for going to gym. So for me, those things were already ticked. And then I had hours I needed to do for football coaching. I was coaching under 13s, assisting coaching, actually, under 13s with Coach Cabello. He's currently still at Tax, actually. And then was helping him at under 13s. And then from there onwards, as I was studying, also helping in football. And then I moved. So let's say, for example, in after third year, when I moved to honors, and then I was allocated then an SAB team. Then not actually an SAB team. It was the what do you call this? The level before SAB. Yeah, people who are in football would know. So SAB, we have Premier Soccer League, we have National First Division, which is the second National First Division, and then we have what we call ABC Motsepe now, and then there is SAB, and then the level before SAB. I was given a team there. I was with Coach Mabuza, and then we're playing one of the 20 leagues there, and it was quite fascinating. So I now had a full team of athletes where I needed to maximize performance. We did very well, won the league, went to the playoffs. Unfortunately, we lost at the playoffs to go to ABC. And then completed my honors, and then we moved to SAB. I was moved to SAB whenever I started, obviously, working at Tax. And then I worked with the team, same thing. We did very well. Playoffs, unfortunately, ABC team we were kept on being knocked out at the playoffs. So graduated from that. I moved to the academy, the Tuks Football Academy. So I was then working with boys from under 15 all the way to 19. So the structure was that at Tuks, the boys come into the morning. I was with them in the gym, 6 a.m. till 7:30. We are in the gym, and then from 7:30 till 9, they have some time to prepare. They start school at 9, and then till 3, quarter to 4, we are at the pitch. I do a bit of NC, and then I was rotating around the teams, and then the coaches will carry on with the technical and tactical part. And then it was just training Monday, Thursday, Wednesday off, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, and then weekends we would have FAP games, as well as obviously GDL wasn't established then. There was FAP as well as another concept, and then we also had Tuesday games for the school league. So that's how we balanced the whole thing. And then I worked with the boys for a couple of years until I was given an opportunity to work with the varsity team. And then I worked with the varsity team in 2017. And then in the process of me working with the varsity team, we went on to win the Varsity Cup. Obviously, I was with Coach Mabuza that year. And in the process of winning the Varsity Cup, I was also had the opportunity to work with SA Ladies, Abandwana, which is the under 17 national team, and then also Basitsana under 20 national team. I worked with them, with both Coach Simpiwe Lulu and Coach Maud Kumalo. And then, we did very well. Under 17s qualified for the World Cup. However, whenever they needed to go to the World Cup, I had to go to Italy to do a pro qualifier. I went there with Michael Adonis from South Africa, another great athlete. And then, unfortunately, there I couldn't get my pro cut. And then in 2019, I went. So 2019, I started then also doubling up between varsity football and first team Amatax, and then within that collaboration, and then from that collaboration, 2019, I was also doing a pro qualifier in South Korea. That's when I won my pro card. And then still working in football, varsity football, academy football, and national first division football. So I was an all-rounder. So understanding long-term athlete development for football, it was part of the process, because I was working with kids all the way from under 14 to the first team of Amatax. So that laid a good foundation for me in terms of my career, and I feel blessed and honored because of during the 2021 to 2022 season, we did very well for Amatax. We went on to the playoffs. Swallows equalized in the last minute for us to go to PSL, and it was heartbreaking because of we could have taken the university back to the Premier Soccer League. However, when one door closes, another one opens. Then, our sporting director, currently here at the biggest institution, Kaiser Chiefs, Mr. Kaiser Junior Mudaung, called me in for an interview, did the interview, got the job on merit. Then now worked with the first team for about 2 seasons. Obviously, things didn't go in our favor. We went on all the way to the Nedbank semi-final, losing again to Pirates 2-1. It was hurtful because it would have been nice to go to the final, with Coach Arthur Zwane and Coach Dylan and the support staff of this great institution. And then the next season was even hurtful, because we really, really disappointed our fans by finishing 9th. Obviously, the story went on. We had a bit of a reshuffle. Then with the reshuffle, I was moved to head of sports science for the Kaiser Chiefs Youth Academy, which is my current position. Yeah. So currently, I am head of sports science here at the prestigious institution Kaiser Chiefs. That name. And it's all thanks to our chairman. Because of the work that he does, it inspires us all, and it always helps us to remain grounded because of the manner he carries himself